Kentucky for Kentucky is a merchandise store selling clothes and accessories that have quirky phrases that advocate Kentucky's uniqueness. The goal of the store is to promote Kentucky's specialties and influential people who have made Kentucky what it is today. They want to eliminate stereotypes, increase tourism, and display their pride for their beloved state. Their funds are not from tourism agencies. Their ambition is solely driven through their connection and love for Kentucky. The purpose of this project is to do research on the store and observe the setting and dynamics of the store in order to create suggestions on how they can improve. A total of 7 hours throughout our project research. To collect research, we observed the store from the food court, observed from inside the store, and took pictures of the store layout and merchandise. We also did research on the store's well-designed website. Our merchandise techniques were determined by how the common shopper would critique the store. We put away all bias to be able to measure store qualities. For example, the brightness of store and layout of merchandise were measured on how a typical shopper would feel towards the qualities. If we felt the elements of the store would encourage the shopper to make a purchase, then they would be rated high. This technically begins when you enter the food court, also known as the barn. The Summit is located on Nicholasville Road. The store is in the middle of multiple local restaurants that create an inviting smell. This smell most likely creates a happy state among the customers, allowing them to be more likely to purchase. A customer of any of the restaurants can peek into the store while waiting for their food or while eating their food. The colorful merchandise is eye candy to anybody seated in the barn. Once the customer enters the store, they can make a loop around the merchandise. The retail experience is influenced by the restaurants, as I previously mentioned, and it is influenced by the Summit itself. The Summit is a place for shopping and purchasing. People go to the Summit with the intention of making a purchase. This popular shopping area would enhance Kentucky for Kentucky sales. The online shopping experience begins when the customer reaches the website. An array of neat merchandise fills the screen. This location of the website influences the customer by giving easy access to purchasing.
The transition zone for Kentucky has an entrance as an opening in between the walls with no doors, and there are also no windows inside the store because it's inside the barn. The store handles the transition zone by putting a sign at the very front of the store and having bright colors inside to grab shoppers' attention. The shoppers in this zone are usually shoppers who are waiting for food or are on lunch breaks or have just gotten off of work and are getting food in the barn. I've noticed the shoppers are usually not looking for a particular product and are just killing time while their food is being prepared. Also, some shoppers are shoppers who have just eaten in the barn. The shoppers who have already eaten usually browse the store on their way out. For traffic flow, people either come from the left or the right of the store, where the restaurants are, and enter at an angle and move toward the center where the display table is. They do follow similar paths. The customers usually move to the center table, then either move to the left or the right, depending on which side of the store they came in, then around the store in a circle. The customers are attracted most to the center table where t-shirts are displayed beside mannequins wearing bright tutus with flower heads. The traffic flow is not efficient in the evening. People in the evening are more focused on getting their food and going home or going to get their food than they are with looking at the t-shirts. For crowding, the size of the aisles is not adequate. The issue is the small space inside the barn, which causes the aisles to be smaller because they have to fit as many of their t-shirts as they can in the small space. While the store does seem crowded, everything is evenly spaced within the store. Customers do get in each other's way around lunchtime only because the store space is small within the barn.
Is pretty sufficient. There are plenty of parking spots located on all sides of the barn. The 2 different times I came, I found a parking spot fast and easily. While the parking went smoothly, the store exterior can be a bit overwhelming. At first glance, you're provided with a lot of colors, objects, and signs to make sense of. While this could turn some people away, it may draw others in by making them want to explore more and find out what the store is all about. If the shopper is drawn in at their first initial glance, I believe reading the different signs and t-shirts on display may be a point where the store loses a large consumer demographic. Many of the t-shirts and signs display curse words and references to drugs, which may lose the appeal and interest of the older generations. However, I do believe that the store's uniqueness in architecture and design may be its dominant characteristic when it comes to attracting consumers. A small but relevant issue that really stood out to me was the scent that engulfed the store. Surrounding Kentucky for Kentucky is food from almost every category you can imagine. You have a seafood place on one side with an Athenian grill on the other, accompanying a ramen joint, chicken and burgers, a bar, and an ice cream shop. As you can imagine, the smells arising from all of these places is strong and obvious. With the already overwhelming colors and objects the store provides, I believe adding the multiple different smells can be a bit hectic and cause people to add a bad connotation to the products displayed in the store. While this may be a hard issue to solve without changing the location of the store, I believe by giving the store its own personal scent, it may take away from the hundreds of scents surrounding the store and distracting from the merchandise. The checkout process for Kentucky of Kentucky is simple and efficient. There is only one iPad which is used for transactions of the products being purchased, and it is located at the back of the store behind a large wooden desk. The checkout area is easy and obvious to find with a large colorful sign over it. While I was never there when there's necessarily a line of people waiting to check out, I could imagine with the size and setup of the store, a line of customers may be difficult to form. Although I did not see this being a major issue for the store because the customers that did purchase the product experienced a relatively fast and efficient checkout. All in all, I believe that the checkout process that Kentucky for Kentucky is currently running fits the environment and the customer flow the store is experiencing right now. If the store does start experiencing more customer flow, they may want to consider rearranging some of their racks so that it would be easier to form a line from the register. But as of right now, all seems well.
The first suggestion we have for critical areas is to use kid-friendly language on displays or put non-kid-friendly gear on a higher display so children cannot see. For example, the shirt that said cocaine. While a child might not necessarily know what this means, parents most likely don't want to expose their children to this. This would cause the family to skip the store altogether, and Kentucky for Kentucky would lose customers. A second suggestion that could be critical is to host a pop-up shop on UAK's campus to get their name out. Before this assignment, I had never heard of Kentucky for Kentucky. A kiosk of some sort on campus would show the student body how interesting their merchandise is. A third suggestion would be to conduct a survey for customers. Attach a link to a receipt and have each person who takes the survey be entered into a contest. This entices the customer to take the survey. The survey could consist of customer satisfaction. The responses would allow Kentucky for Kentucky to make improvements based on this feedback. This would improve the shopping experience because the customers are aware that Kentucky for Kentucky cares about them. The first easy improvement we thought of was to pass out stickers for free to promote the business. Shoppers would learn that the store is generous by their willingness to give something out for free. This would encourage the customer to make a purchase. Another improvement could be socializing with the customer as they enter the store. I noticed at times there was no worker in the store. A great way to connect the customers would be through a cordial greeting. The last easy improvement would be to do something special to distinguish your store from the restaurants in the barn. Maybe create some sort of synthetic door or creative path. This would allow the shopper to differentiate between the food spots and Kentucky for Kentucky.